Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 30th of October 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. I actually thought tonight's Smackdown was a pretty good show. I liked it more than normal, and that's saying something because there was a number of wrestling shows this week that I actually kind of liked a little more than normal. So that's really good to hear that. Or at least for me, that's really good for me to say, I should say, that I felt the SmackDown was a pretty good show and better than most weeks. With that, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, if you're here watching us on Twitch, you can help us out by donating or subscribing or bit-twitting, whatever you want to call it, in a couple of different ways. You can either go down below and hit that donate button, or you can go over and do some Twitch bits. That's another way you can donate. But remember, you can also subscribe to the channel one of two ways. First way is with a tiered subscription. But also, if you have Amazon Prime, well, you can subscribe to us absolutely free. Because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. With Prime Gaming, that gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And we would greatly appreciate it if that one channel that you subscribe to was us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So with that, I do want to apologize for the late start as well. If you are watching live, I had some things to do with the kids tonight, so it pushed everything back about an hour. But let's get into it and talk about Friday Night Smackdown that kicked off with the Tribal Chief and the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. The Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, made his way down to the ring with Paul Heyman in tow. Jey Uso was already standing in the middle of the ring when they headed down. His head was also down. They headed down and his head was down. Michael Cole pointed out that Uso was going to fall in line and acknowledge Reigns as the Tribal Chief. They recapped the Reigns-Uso match from Hell in a Cell. Heyman tried to speak, but Uso yanked the microphone from his hand. Uso yelled that Reigns didn't beat him. He didn't quit. Reigns told Uso he couldn't feel any way he wants and he can't make any excuses. He could feel any way he wants and he can't make any excuses. He said that he was going to make Uso quit, and he did. Reigns told him to take the oath and fall in line. Uso won't fall in line because he doesn't respect Roman. He says he can't believe Roman did this to him. He said, this is just like when we were kids. Uso noted that Reigns used the only person he'd quit for against him. Uso feels that the title changed Reigns. Reigns noted that he did it all for the championship. Everyone in the family, and from the eldest to the youngest, they've all fallen in line behind him, and Uso is the last to do so. That rhymed there a little bit. Uso was furious. He got in Roman's face and said, "I hate you. Why would you do this to me? What has happened to you?" Uso yelled more about hating Reigns. Reigns believed that Uso hates him, but that doesn't change anything. Reigns says that he loves Jey and says by the end of the night, you will fall in line. Roman was amazing here. Reigns consoled Uso, rubbed his shoulder, rubbed his head, and walked away as Uso watched him leave. I thought this was fantastic. Who would have thought that one of the greatest, just all-around storylines in any year would be Roman Reigns as a heel, and I know this sounds bad, but an Uso as the babyface against him. I know that sounds bad as it's me saying that the Usos are interchangeable, and I don't want to say they are, but it's just like we've seen them as one for so long that I feel like this could have been Jey or Jimmy and it would have been just as good. And I'm not saying that to knock the Usos. I'm just saying whichever one this was, it would be just as good. And we don't know. I'm assuming that. Jey is phenomenal in this role. Jey has been absolutely killing it. Could Jimmy be just as good? We can only assume so. But who would have thought that in any year, one of the best promos in not promos, but storylines and segments and just everything in any promotion would be Roman Reigns and an Uso. To me, this is the best storyline of any wrestling promotion right now. I don't say that often. I don't remember the last time when there was a singular storyline that had me going, man, I can't wait for this week's show. Because I want to see not the whole show, but at least what they do with that storyline and how it progresses. And I say that every week with SmackDown. I can't wait for SmackDown tonight because I want to see what comes next with Roman and Jay. And I don't know who we give credit to that. I know, of course, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for their performances, but who is the mastermind behind the storyline? Is it Vince? Is it Triple H? Is it Paul Heyman? Is it Bruce Pritchard? I don't know. I have heard that Paul Heyman has had feelers as far as input, but has he had the kind of input that has really made this storyline, or is it somebody else that's really been at the forefront of it for the most part? Either way, this storyline to me, and you don't have to agree with me, you can completely say I'm wrong, and I would understand that because this is just my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But in that, with this being my opinion, I feel that this is the best storyline right now in professional wrestling, and maybe the best storyline of 2020. I know if there was an awards deal, which is coming soon, awards season for the end of the year, I would vote best story of the year, Roman and Jey Uso. Just saying. So before we cut the commercial, they tell us that Jey Uso will be taking on Daniel Bryan later tonight in a Survivor Series qualifying match. But not just a Survivor Series qualifying match, but a Survivor Series best of the best qualifying match for Team Smackdown. Yeah, they've taglined Survivor Series, and so every time they say Survivor Series, it's not just Survivor Series. They have to say, oh, coming up at Survivor Series, best of the best. You know, one of these men will represent SmackDown at Survivor Series, best of the best. It's just like, oh, fuck. Really? Best of the best? Okay. So we had our first qualifying match of the night. It was Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Winner moves on to Survivor Series to represent SmackDown. I thought this match was pretty good. Wasn't great, but, you know, it was really good. Owens had the early advantage until Bobby Roode caused a distraction. Ziggler took over and slowed down the pace. Excuse me. Owens recovered and rocked Ziggler with a back elbow. Ziggler kicked the knee of Owens and attempted to zigzag, but Owens held onto the ropes. Ziggler sent Owens to the floor and draped the knee, or dropped to a knee. The referee checked on Ziggler, which allowed Roode to attack Owens because the referee was distracted. The referee caught Roode, though, putting Owens back in the ring and sent him out of here. Sent him to the back. At one point, Ziggler set up for a super kick, but Owens hit a super kick first. In a cool spot, Owens attempted a pop-up powerbomb, but Ziggler reversed it into a famouser for a very close near fall. I thought that looked great. Ziggler went for a super kick again, but Owens avoided it and hit a stunner to pick up the victory, so Owens is the first member of Team Smackdown. Also, guys, I want to state, if you want to be part of tonight's show, remember to text your thoughts to 510-906-1341. Remember, text your thoughts to be part of the show to 510-906-1341. It will be scrolling right, I'm too high, down here periodically, and I'll be putting it in the live chat. And I also want to thank Vegan Man Cash, or Vega Man Cash, for his Tier 1 subscription. We really do appreciate that. Because remember, all the money we do make here on Twitch will go back to helping families in need that have been displaced from the Creek Fire here in Central California. So in the back, Natalya and Billie Kay were both trying to stake their claim to Adam Pearce as to why they should be on the SmackDown Women's team for Survivor Series. Bianca Belair would interrupt, and she said, if it's the best of the best, well, the EST should be on Team SmackDown. And I think it was Natty goes, okay, we don't even know what EST means, so quit saying that. And she goes, strongest, fastest, smartest, you get? And so Adam Pearce goes, you know what? How about this? 3 of you want to be on the team? triple threat. The winner advances to Team Smackdown. And they were all like, okay, cool. So our poll has subsided. As far as what did you guys think of tonight's Friday Night Smackdown? 67% of you said it was all right. 33% of you said you liked it. And nobody said you didn't like it. So that's good to see that at least everybody somewhat liked SmackDown. So going forward, Corey Graves had a sit-down interview with Lars Sullivan, and this was interesting. So Graves interviewed Lars Sullivan, and he says, I'm here with Lars. Can I call you Lars? And Lars said, well, thank you for asking that. But what else would you call me? The Freak? And Graves didn't say anything. He's like, would you like to be called The Freak? And Graves is like, well, not particularly, no. And then Sullivan started telling a story about the first time he was called a freak. He said 2 boys mocked him on the playground and kept singing, freak show, freak show, freak show. Sullivan said everyone was laughing at him, including the teachers. He admitted that made him cry. Sullivan said that he just wished that the boys would stop. Sullivan began to laugh. He said the laughter did stop. But the screams went on for hours. Sullivan said, because of what I did, I was never allowed back at school. Graves asked Sullivan, what do you want to accomplish here in WWE? Sullivan said, I want to destroy everybody that gets in my way. I want to make this my personal playground, my personal hell on earth. And my first thought was, get in your way for what? Are you trying to accomplish something specific? Like get in your way of becoming a champion? Beating up a certain person? I just don't get his motivation. Because if he wants to take out people that are making fun of him, then the only person he needs to be taken out is Michael Cole. Because that's the only one that calls him the Freak. So he needs to go whip Michael Cole's ass. No, I haven't heard anybody else call him the Freak. But going forward, they recap Murphy against... Well, actually, after this, Bianca Belair comes down to the ring, and we go to commercial. We come back. I think we see Bianca in the ring just quickly, and then all of a sudden we get a recap of the Mysterio-Seth stuff. Then we go to the back, and Aaliyah spoke with Murphy in the back. She said that she spoke with her mother about what's going on, and she, I guess you could say, approves. She understands and wants Aaliyah to be happy. She said, well, my father and my brother, they don't approve of this relationship. Murphy wishes that they can see that he has changed. Murphy promised that he's going to go out to the ring tonight and apologize to Ray and Dominic. Aaliyah said, do you really have to do that? And Murphy said, yes, I do. Then finally, we go back to the ring, and Bianca Belair is still just standing there waiting for her match to start. She's been out there for, I don't know, 3-minute commercial, 3 minutes for this. She's been out there for like 8 minutes. 7-8 minutes. You're right, Phantom DTP. Stephanie did call him the Freak at the draft. So maybe he needs to go take care of Stephanie as well. We get a triple threat match. Billie Kay comes out to some just not great new generic music. She doesn't even get halfway down the ramp before they cut it off and Natty's music plays, and she gets her full entrance. So early on, Natty attempted to slap Kay, but she ducked, and Natty hit Belair. Natalya rocks Belair with the discus clothesline, but Kay sent her to the floor. Natalya lifted up Kay in a back suplex, but she ended up giving Belair a Hurricane Rana. Belair hit a moonsault on Kay at one point for a close near fall. Natalya sent Kay back to the floor, and she locked on a sharpshooter on Bianca Belair. Kay then ran in and also put Belair in a crossface. Kay would not tap out, though, and she would get out of both submissions. Well, I think Natty let go of one, and she got out of the other. Kay took over and kicked Belair in the face, which caused her to DDT Natty. Kay attempted to pin both, but only scored near falls. Natty then locked a sharpshooter on Billie Kay, but Bianca Belair sent Natty to the floor. Kay tried rolling up Belair with her feet on the ropes, but she only got a 2 off of it. Michael Cole had to let us know, in triple threat matches, using the ropes is legal. Okay. Kay attempted another big boot, but Belair ducked and then grabbed Kay and hit the KOD to pick up the victory. Belair becomes the first member of the women's team for Smackdown at Survivor Series. Or should I say, Smackdown, best of the best. So in the back, Carmella was there and she was enjoying a drink. She talked about her pending return to action. Carmella noted that she'd do whatever it takes to get ahead. And next week, she promised to show us why she is untouchable. Going forward, Murphy came out. He was with Aaliyah, and he tried to apologize to Ray and Dominic. Murphy stated that he wants to apologize and begged that Dominic and Ray come out. They wouldn't come out. Murphy begged and pleaded that they would come out. He said he needs to do this. He needs to talk to them. He needs to apologize. Aaliyah, why do I keep saying Aaliyah? Aaliyah looked distraught and just upset that they wouldn't come out when the music of Seth Rollins would hit and he would come out. Rollins noted that Ray and Dominic would never accept him for what he's done, but he understands, and he accepts Murphy. And if he needed to, he would also accept Aaliyah and their relationship. Rollins says that he's not the bad guy in the situation, and Aaliyah, you know it. Rollins feels that Ray is being overpowering and overprotecting and controlling of Aaliyah. Rollins began mocking Dominic as well when Dominic would run down and attack Rollins from behind. Murphy would pull Dominic off of Rollins, and so the two would start to brawl. Murphy and Dominic ended up brawling in the ring when Ray would run out, grab Murphy, pull him off of Dominic, and fight him as well. Ray got the better of Murphy. Dominic then hit a drop toe hold on Murphy, would put him into the rope, set her for the 619, and Dominic just started yelling to Ray, do it, hit him, go for it. So Ray gave Murphy a 619. Well, attempted to, but Aaliyah jumped in the way and stopped Ray from doing it. I gotta give kudos to Aaliyah. She be coming out here every week in these heels that are about this tall. And the heel on it's like this skinny. That can't be easy to run around in. And we've seen her every time run no problem. Kudos. So, Aaliyah gets in Ray's way, and he starts saying something in Spanish to her about, I assume, her not listening to him. Finally, he's like, it's time to go. Let's go. Aaliyah, vámonos now. And she's like, no, I'm not. Aaliyah then said, I love Murphy. I love him. And Ray looked there shocked. Aaliyah repeated that she loved Murphy. Ray and Dominic again looked shocked as they started to walk away in disgust. Aaliyah helped Murphy up, and the two would kiss. Ray and Dominic couldn't believe what they had seen. And Murphy seemed a little surprised himself. But then had a look on his face like, my plan's working. I don't know if this is all a master plan by Murphy and Rollins to split up the Mysterios, or if this is genuine and Murphy is sorry for what he did and wants to get in Ray and Dominic's good graces because he does feel a certain way about Aaliyah. But he did have this look on his face when their two were like arm in arm, side by side, and he kind of like, after the kiss deal, he had this look on his face like, it's working. It's working. So, I don't know where this can go. This is another thing that I've been liking. And to be honest, I feel like the storyline only continues to get better. It started as crap. It was okay at one point around Survivor Series time, or SummerSlam time. But even since then, it's gotten better. So we'll see. We'll see. And here's the other thing I need to talk about. Everybody's saying, why would a 33-year-old be with a 19-year-old? That's not right. That's creepy. Blah, 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 blah. How is that creepy? Would you be saying the same thing if Murphy was 43 and she was 29? That is a 14-year difference, if I did my math right. That's a 14-year difference. I know people who their parents were 20 years in age difference. My grandparents, my grandfather was 11 years younger than my grandmother. No. Yeah, my grandfather was the younger one. My grandma was 11 years older than my grandfather. Age is just a number. They're both adults. It would be different if Aaliyah was 17 and he was 33 because she wouldn't be of legal age. But they're both adults. They can both make their own opinions, their own decisions. So why are people got to be grossed out about this? Call it creepy and unethical. I've seen that on Twitter. People said that this is unethical for them to be together, Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, just saying. In the back, Daniel Bryan was getting ready for his match with Jey Uso when he was approached by Kayla. She asked about Jey Uso, the opponent tonight, and everything Jay's been going through. And Daniel stated that, yes, he has been through a lot. And he has taken Roman Reigns. He's taken him to the edge. And Roman was never technically able to beat him. He says his game plan doesn't change, though, based on whatever happened earlier tonight with Jey Uso. He said he's getting prepared to beat the best Jay that he's ever seen. Next up, the Smackdown Tag Team Champions would come out. Street Profits, that is. Montez Ford noted that they saw the New Day's impression of them this week. They were flattered because, well, imitation is flattery at its best. They pointed out that the New Day is one of the greatest tag teams of all time. However, they're not going to Survivor Series to sign some boxes of bootios or to what's the word I'm looking for? Throw pancakes. They said they promise to defeat the New Day at Survivor Series. I think this match is going to be fun as hell. Could be match of the night. The Street Profits took on Cesaro and Nakamura tonight. The babyfaces had the early advantage. Dawkins dropped Ford onto Cesaro for a near fall. Nakamura broke up the pin attempt. A brawl broke out, and Ford sent Nakamura to the floor with a drop kick. He then hit a huge dive to the floor. In a crazy spot, Cesaro launched Ford over the barricade and took him out almost for the remainder of this match. After a commercial break, the heels were firmly in control. Nakamura missed a kick, and Ford hit an enziguri. Dawkins got the hot tag and ran wild. He then hit a twisting splash in the corner and a bulldog for a near fall. Cesaro would gain control with a vicious uppercut. Dawkins fought back and attempted a tag, but Ford was on the floor. Dawkins missed a twisting splash in the corner. Nakamura would then follow it up with a knee. Cesaro regained control with a vicious uppercut. Dawkins fought back and attempted to tag, but Ford wasn't there. Cesaro then hit a gut-wrench powerbomb for a near fall. Dawkins recovered and used an inside cradle for a near fall of his own. Cesaro then rocked Dawkins with a clothesline. Nakamura climbed to the top, but Dawkins pushed him off and into the corner. Dawkins then hit a huge spinebuster on Cesaro. He then gave Nakamura a superplex, and Ford came off the top rope with a frog splash to pick up the victory. Now here's my question. Did I miss something here, or was Montez Ford never actually tagged in? Correct me in the chat or in the comments below, because I never saw the tag actually take place. Cincinnati says Montez looked like he was clutching his ribs after the match. Yeah, because that's what he was supposed to be selling, that he had a rib injury. Also, we're going to double back for a second because I see some comments in the chat about the whole Aaliyah Murphy thing. Jacko says it's a storyline. Real Mr. Pickle says it's just a storyline. Jacko says not real life. I know it's not real life. They're not really together. But I'm just saying everybody knocking it because of the age difference, that's not a big deal. Like I stated, I know people where their parents are 20 years apart, where my grandparents were 11 years apart. You can't, whether you like the storyline or not, you can't knock it because of the age difference thing, because that's that's just not a issue. But that's what people online are knocking it for now. Oh my God, how can a 33-year-old guy want to be with someone 11 years younger than him? Or 14 years younger than him, I mean. It's not an issue. And that's what people tonight I've seen on Twitter are having the issue with. Not that they don't think that Aaliyah with Murphy is a good story or anything. It's just the whole age thing. And I know it's a storyline and not real life, but I'm comparing it to real life because that's what people online are doing. Trying to talk it as such. Just saying. We then get Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. He talked about the Survivor Series match coming up where he is the champion of basically the entire world. of all the continents and all the countries, even Bolivia. But Bobby Lashley's just a champion of one country, the United States. He said he's what's the word he said? He said that he is, oh crap, I didn't write this down. Honored, I think is what he said, to be representing SmackDown as the Intercontinental Champion and the representative of every person on every continent. Zayn mocked Lashley again for only representing one country. He says he's going to prove that the Intercontinental Champion is always better than the United States Champion. So next up, we had Sasha Banks and Bayley, and there was just something was off with Sasha tonight. I don't know if it was she was over-scripted and didn't like the lines that she was given, but basically, to me, this didn't feel like a normal Sasha Banks promo. This felt like a, all right, this is what they want me to say, I'm just going to go out there and say it kind of promo. It seemed very by the books, by the numbers, by design. Sasha comes out with the title, and Banks brought a chair with her, the one that Bayley used to attack her. Banks sat on the chair and thanked Bayley. She noted that Bayley stabbed her in the back. They were going to take over this company together, and Banks considered Bayley her sister, but then she attacked her with this chair. Banks realized that now it wasn't Bayley that she needed. Bayley needed her. Banks says she's the blueprint and is proud to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. She said Bayley is in her past, and now she is focused on nothing more than going to Survivor Series and beating Asuka. Bayley's music would hit. She would make her way down to the ring, and she cut a good promo. It was just, I felt Sasha was off a little bit tonight. Bayley said that she was upset with Banks and told her the chair and told her that she has her chair and her title. Bayley noted that Banks made her sign that contract under distress. So, she really didn't lose the belt. No, you really did. Bayley noted that everyone knows that Banks can win a title, but she can't defend that title, just like she can't beat Asuka. Bayley then go on to state that next week on SmackDown, I'm challenging you for the championship, and I will end your reign as champion at 13 days. Banks hopes that Bayley brings everything she's got. Remember that. Everything she's got. I just want you guys to remember that line. It's just, don't ask me why yet. Just remember that line. She hopes Bayley brings everything she's got. All I'm going to say is, Mercedes wants her to bring everything. We got our main event. It was Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan for the winner, moving on to represent SmackDown at Survivor Series on Team SmackDown. Uso and Bryan had a good match with a slow build, and it picked up towards the end. It told a great story in this match, although the finish was a little bit of a surprise. As the match began, Jey Uso still seemed distraught and confused, and not fully his head wasn't fully in it. He aggressively jumped Bryan at the bell. Bryan fought back, and Jey Uso recovered and hit a Samoan drop. Uso stomped Bryan in the corner and continued to beat him down. Bryan walked up the corner and did a backflip and landed on his feet. He hit a clothesline and followed this up with some yes kicks. Uso avoided the last kick and rolled to the floor. Roman Reigns had come down to observe his cousin in his match. After a commercial break, Uso and Bryan fought on the top turnbuckle. Bryan escaped and attempted a back suplex off the top. Uso shifted his weight and landed on Bryan for a near fall. Bryan continued to score near falls as we moved on forward closer to the end of the match. Bryan sent Uso to the floor at one point, and Bryan attempted a suicide dive, but Uso countered with a super kick right in front of Reigns. Uso tried the splash, but Bryan got his knees up and locked into the bell lock. Uso fought back and made it to the ropes. Bryan fired up and hit a running dropkick in the corner. Bryan attempted the move a second time, but Uso rocked him with a super kick. Uso would then hit a splash off the top and pick up the victory, defeating Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan is not competing at Survivor Series. Jey Uso will be on Team SmackDown. Very interesting there. So after the match, Reigns gets in the ring. All of a sudden, Jay just walks straight to him and goes, all right, I declare I'm with you. I understand now. I understand now. You're the head of the table. And he just kept yelling, I understand now. I understand now. And my first thought was, but you didn't understand an hour and 45 minutes ago. What happened? Who called you? Who'd you talk to? Who changed your mind? Roman then said, make him understand. As Jay went on the attack of Daniel Bryan. Jay would pull Bryan out of the ring and beat him down. Beat him down on the announce table. And Uso then hit a splash off the top onto Bryan on the announce table. He pulled that old Shane McMahon jump off the top rope all the way over to the announce table move. Reigns watched and approved with a smile as Uso continued to attack Bryan as the show went off the air. So with that was Friday Night Smackdown. Yeah, that was Friday. Sorry, I got distracted. I had something pop up. That was Friday Night Smackdown. I thought the show was better than normal. And again, we furthered this Roman Reigns Uso thing, and who knows where it's going to go next now that Uso has acknowledged Reigns as the quote-unquote chief and head of the table. Well, with that, now I want to see what you guys thought of tonight's SmackDown. We're going to read some text messages here. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. This person here says, do you think Jay and Jimmy will join forces with Roman? I think they have to. I mean, we saw it tonight. They did. Person said, I've been in the WWE Thunderdome. Cool. I was in the Thunderdome last week's SmackDown. I tried it out. This text message says, quick question. After Jay turning heel on Daniel Bryan and possibly joining the faction with Roman, what and how do you think Jimmy Uso's role will be and play out next time? Will Jay join them in the long run, or is there a chance Jimmy might go against them? Jimmy's not going against them because Roman said it tonight. Jay, you're the only one in the family that has not acknowledged me as the head of the table and the tribal chief. So if you go off of that sentiment, then that means that Jimmy has already done the acknowledging. That Jimmy has already said, hey, you're the head of the table. Now, I think we can get Jay doing heelish things, but not fully wanting to do it, but knowing he has to do it against his own will. I think that's something we can get as well. He doesn't want to do these things, but he knows he has to for the greater good of the family. And that kind of goes along with this next question. Is Uso now a full-blown heel? I don't know, and I think there's going to be times where you're going to see his conscience come out when Roman tells him to do something. Other person says, no explanation of Tucker will turn or the continuation of the storyline. I'm surprised your thoughts. I don't know, because Tucker is a Raw superstar. He was still listed as of Tuesday or Wednesday as a SmackDown superstar, but as of last night, he was listed back as a Raw superstar, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know what they're going to do with Tucker. He wasn't on Raw last night, or this past Monday, and no Otis tonight. The only mention of Otis we got all night was one of Mario Lopez's kids dressed as Otis for Halloween. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight. Twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, if you missed any of this review or any of our previous reviews, you can check those out over at youtube.com/ProWrestlingUnlimited. Also, follow us on social media, Facebook.com/ProWrestlingULTD. Search for us on Instagram, Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. So with that, guys, we will be live again this coming Monday. No, nothing over the weekend here on Twitch, but we'll be live this coming Monday for Monday Night Raw. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you next time.